Hey, Olivia, over there at Home Theater Review. I know that you have these questions you emailed over to me, and I figured it'd just be easier for me to answer it this way. This is the way I'm used to talking instead of typing back. So you have some questions here, and I'll do my best to answer them. So I haven't even read these yet. So the first one is, what makes the HiFi Summit an important event? What makes it important is that, the circumstances that we're in made it so that, the typical trade shows, Expona and Rocky Mountain Audio Fest. I was looking forward to going to those, but obviously we couldn't do that. So what are we gonna do? Right? So that's bad for me because I wanted to go, but also bad for the companies who wanted to exhibit and show, that's for a lot of these companies, that's the way that they market. And so without that, I don't know. I feel like some of them were kind of lost as to how they can proceed and continue showing off the new products, continue talking with other distributors and dealers, things like that, and of course the end users. So I wanted to create an event that, replace as much of that as possible. And I understand that it's not completely possible doing all this online. There's an aspect of face to face that's really helpful, but we're doing the best we can. And I think that's what's important, is that it shows that you you have to try. You have to try something. And so that's what I've tried to do with the Hi-Fi Summit, and I was surprised with how well it worked out the first time. So we're doing it again. Now, okay. Oh, wow. That leads great. Perfect lead into number two. What will be the difference with Q4 Summit versus Q2? Okay, so initially with Q2, I already came in with the mindset that it isn't a virtual trade show. I don't like the term virtual because it implies that we're trying to completely replicate all aspects of a typical trade show, which, like I said, you can't really do. But there are things that you can actually do better online, right? So people like shopping online. We don't call it virtual shopping when you go on Amazon, but that's taking over. A lot of people are shopping online, and we already know that. Um, so I guess the thing that I'm doing different is there's less of a focus on quantity, right? So initially, to set things straight, I've done physical trade shows before, big physical trade shows, and the idea there was to get the most number of attendees, the most companies, and just quantity, right? The most possible. And yes, of course, that's always a good goal. But I found that this time I really wanted to focus on the quality of the experience for the attendees and also for the companies as well. But I wanted to kind of bring them together and see how far we could take that relationship, because it's something that I learned from the first one, which was that we could actually build real relationships, build real connections, you know, online. And so that was a surprise, and I want to kind of focus on that and see how much better we can do at fostering that. Okay, number three. How did you get involved in the hi-fi community? Okay, so I've been into speakers and audio since I was 12, and I'm not 12. You can see from the white hairs here. Um, but yeah, it's been a while. I've always been into it, but I'm into tech also. So my first business was an IT business, and so computers, tinkering with stuff. It's just kind of like a engineering mindset where you're an inventor almost, so you're just trying different things, seeing what works, what doesn't work, and that's kind of what audio is about. And so it fits right in with my style. I couldn't afford it when I was younger, but now I could. And what I found out was I started making YouTube videos just to I bought too much stuff, right? So I figured, you know what, instead of making an excuse as to why I bought all this stuff, let me start reviewing it and see if other people appreciate that. And the moment I started reviewing speakers, it started blowing up. People really liked it. And so I think that I found that there were people who wanted to hear about speaker reviews, audio reviews, with high quality, right? Because the content at the time was just not the greatest, and so I wanted to add another level of production value to YouTube in the audio space, and I think people liked it. And now that's kind of the trend. Everybody has a nice camera, nice B-roll, good audio, all that. So I don't know if I had anything to do with that, but maybe I did, maybe I didn't. Hopefully I did. Um, So, what's some advice you'd give to someone who is new to hi-fi? Advice would be have fun with it. You know what I mean? Like, don't think that you have to spend the most amount of money, right? Because that's what any hobby, you can get crazy and spend as much money and go bankrupt if you want. But that's not the key to having fun with it. The key is experimenting and trying new things and learning and figuring things out. And so I would say, even if you start off with speakers that aren't great, you're going to find out pretty soon what they can do that's okay and what's not so good, and you're going to find out why. Then you're going to upgrade to the next level. Enjoy the entire process of moving up, right? Don't feel like you need to start way up high, because you're going to skip all the learning that happens from going from mediocre, or maybe just bad, to mediocre, to good, to better, to best. I guess there's no best, but you know what I mean. Are there new advancements in hi-fi or products that you're really interested in? Yeah, I've spoken about this a couple times. The advancements in hi-fi that I find interesting are, of course, all the stuff that we're excited about when it comes to smartphones and other technology, right? So, for example, the use of just computing power, right? So, when it comes to audio, that means DSP, so signal processing, to get the most out of the speakers. But some of the stuff that I've only seen really in some stuff maybe from like Apple or Sonos, some of those bigger tech companies, more tech-oriented companies, where the speakers are actually calibrating themselves to their placement. So they have a mic, and as music is playing through them, it's recalibrating the sound signature and accounting for, whether you have them close to a wall or far from a wall, and it'll adjust the sound based on that. I think that's really cool. So I think, yeah, that's basically it. Apple is also doing some spatial audio stuff, so I'm interested in spatial audio and binaural audio. Yeah, nothing too crazy, but yeah, Class D, HDMI ARC, eARC, so that I think that technology should make stuff simpler, more advanced, and also smaller and less expensive. So anything that can do that and provide good audio to people who typically aren't into audio, I'm all for that. So yeah, that's it. That's all I got. Hope to see you guys at the HiFi Summit. Uh, Hopefully that answered your questions.